Welcome to back to the West Ham Voice. I think you can see I'm not in my usual environment. Back to wearing headset, microphone, no backdrop apart from that what a thermometer or whatever it is. So I hope it doesn't ruin your enjoyment of this particular video. And what's this video about today? Well, yet again, we have to endure the rumours that Lucas Paqueta wants out of West Ham United. So, where are these rumours coming from? And even if remotely true, is it in West Ham's interest to entertain offers for the player this coming January? The Paqueta transfer rumour has been tied into another rumour or another fact that was lurking about in the summer, which has come up yet again that we have to sell before we can buy in order to generate money to buy other players to improve the squad. But even that is a contestable rumour coming up again. It was only reported the other day that the board are preparing to raise funds for Nuno to back him in the January transfer window in order to get a striker, a midfielder, and defensive reinforcements. So, despite having to apparently raise funds, the club has said not to be keen on selling a player like Lucas Paqueta in the January window. So let's try and trace the rumours and where they've come from, what the player himself has actually said, and what the club situation is on and off the pitch, and whether selling Paqueta in January would be sensible footballing business for West Ham. But before we dive into all of that, if you're new to the West Ham Voice, or if you've watched the West Ham Voice before and yet to become a subscriber, please do. There's a QR code that's appeared in the top corner. All you've got to do is click on that to become a subscriber of the channel. If you don't subscribe, no problem at all. By the way, subscription is all free, by the way. If you don't subscribe, that's fine. Then please, 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 after the video is finished, please hit the like button at the end of the show to appreciate the content created. Plus, you can also hit the hype button, which exposes the video to a bigger audience. That would be great. It's like promoting the video for me. And finally, if you're feeling generous and would like to become a member of the West Ham Voice, in addition to a subscriber, membership is also within the subscription area. And amongst the perks, you get extra short video content, and all the money raised through the membership scheme goes directly to Prostate Cancer UK. And to date, we have raised £290. So thank you to the members for that. Right, back to the main story. So the latest round of stories say Paqueta has his eye on a January exit, with tabloid and national outlets claiming he wants out after the summer's failed move and amid the club's poor start to the season. Danny Murphy even stuck his oar in on Talk Sport, suggesting that if a big club came in for him in January, the player will do all he can to push for a move. Now, this is the type of shit stirring that can send the fan base into a meltdown. Really, Danny? You're certain that he'll actually push for a move if a big club comes in, knowing already that he will be moving in the summer as agreed between him and the club? Now, those pieces lean heavily on a single narrative. Paqueta has apparently tried to move in August, and even that is unsubstantiated rumour. Interest surfaced late from clubs like Aston Villa, but the move didn't happen because all they offered was a loan with a potential buy deal. But that didn't suit West Ham because if we were going to sell him, we needed the money in order to buy more players. And now, apparently, the player is supposedly pushing for another shot at a transfer in January. Publicly, Paqueta's reaction has been far more muted than the paper talk suggests. He recently posted a family photo in West Ham kit with his two sons, a message most readers or most viewers or most fans will look at as a calm rebuttal of the "he wants out" headlines that are circulating around. From a simple practice perspective, the family photo shot kind of Paqueta and his boys, kind of managed external expectation. A short personal post that signals his contentment at the club. But it does also leave room for movement should circumstances change. But I don't think they will. On the pitch, Paqueta remains one of the team's most used creative players. He's probably the only creative player that we've got at the club. This season's early numbers show him starting most league games and contributing goals. And he's highly influential, or he can be, from attacking midfield positions. Paqueta is not a fringe player. He's a key performer and carries both creative responsibility at the club. But let's face it, he hasn't been delivering of late. But then I've got to ask the question, who in the squad has actually been delivering this season? Just like the rest of the team, because of our current predicament, Paqueta's form has suffered. So why do these rumours that the player wants to leave keep coming back? Well, there are three practical reasons that the story keeps resurfacing. Football media feeds on plausible exits when a club is underperforming and a high value player is contractually available. Paqueta ticks both those boxes. Multiple news and social media outlets have linked the failed summer interest in the player and the rumour that West Ham might be open to selling him for the right fee if they need to raise cash, which creates a recurring narrative every time the team is struggling. Internally, when a club is looking at January rebuilding, and for short-term survival, any top earner, any big asset at the club becomes a plausible sales candidate to balance the books or to fund those reinforcements. Now, Paqueta, the Paqueta to leave story keeps getting told, whether there is any truth or not in it. So, would it be sensible to sell Paqueta if an offer comes in for the player? From a purely financial viewpoint, selling a star midfielder at the top of his market value can raise considerable funds that could be reinvested in a number of areas in the squad. We have heard that Nuno wants a striker, he wants a combative midfielder, and he wants more defensive cover. But there are caveats to this. Unless a buyer meets a significant asking price, selling Paqueta for anything less than 50 million risks weakening a side that is already desperately in need of creativity and leadership on the pitch. Additionally, mid-season buys can genuinely mid-season buys who can genuinely replace Paqueta are rarely going to be cheap or guaranteed to adapt quickly. So we might end up selling Paqueta for 50 mil, but we might have to spend 40 mil to buy a half decent replacement for him. Would that be worthwhile? What would that leave to reinvest in the rest of the squad? And to if we can get a premium fee for the player, and if there's a clear plan to reinvest that money immediately into players who address the club's weakness positions, then fine. But it's a tall order to do that in January. For the short term, losing Paqueta is likely to be a hindrance. He's one of the main creators within the team, as I said, probably the only one at this moment in time, and is a player who can unlock chances. We're in a relegation fight and we are desperate for points, and we need someone to be creating those chances. By removing that creative engine would create an immediate drop in quality and unpredictability in how the team attacks. For the medium term, if the sale can fund a targeted rebuild, a no-nonsense forward, a ball-playing centre-back, and midfield reinforcements, the club could come out stronger for the remainder of this season. But that hinges on recruitment hitting the mark and the manager getting time and resource to integrate new signings. As far as dressing room and morale is concerned, selling your best creative player whilst you're underperforming can be destabilizing unless handled transparently and the club has a credible plan, as I've said. Paqueta's public photo suggests he's not pushing for a dramatic public exit, which matters for the dressing room stability if a sale is agreed. So what practical transfer plan scenarios might West Ham follow? Well, we can keep Paqueta through to the end of the season, build around him, and try to fix immediate tactical issues. Or we can sell him and reinvest, accept a big offer, use proceeds to buy the 2 or 3 players that we need that addresses all our problems, but only if prices and targets are realistic and available in January. Or we can just defer a decision for now. By all means, listen to offers, but only sell if replacements are actually lined up. I think that's the safest route, but harder to execute mid-season. Look, all paths are viable. The right one depends on the fee that's on the table and the recruitment team's access to realistic January targets. The headlines are loud because the mainstream and social media channels are always looking for the latest scoop, regardless of how much truth there might be in the story itself. If it's newsworthy, then report it. After all, everyone is after clicks these days. From the fan perspective, I think many fans are actually truly torn over Lucas Paqueta. Some say get rid, whilst others argue that given that he's the only creative force, he should stay at the club. From a footballing perspective, keeping him while shoring up weaknesses looks the least damaging. It looks like the least damaging option, unless West Ham can secure a premium fee for him and immediately reinvest into quality replacements. We're going to hear a lot more about this as time passes by. We know what social media is like. We know that they like rumour mongering. We know mainstream media jumps on the back of that as well in order just to wind up the fan base. I say don't get wound up. It doesn't matter. If we can get a good price for him and then get reinforcements, fair play. But if we can't, I think Lucas will stay until summer. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you all again very soon.